that was discussed. Third canto. And at the end of the third canto, then Maitre Muni is describing about the genealogy of Swayambhu Manu, 3 daughters, and then he's saying that Sati had no daughter. From Sati there was no family. Then Parikshit Maharaj was curious what happened, why Sati committed suicide. Then the 4th canto starts. Then the 4th canto again, genealogy of then Dhruv Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, and then Prachetas, then Prachin Bharishat, Prachetas. The end of the 4th canto, then 5th canto starts with Swayambhu Manu approaching Priyavrat, then dynasty of Priyavrat, whole of the 1st canto is gone. Now again, 6th canto and 5th canto at the end, description of hellish planets were there. So Parikshit Maharaj inquired, how can I save these conditioned souls? Then glory to the holy name, Ajamil Prasanga came. And now again Parikshit Maharaj is coming back to his original question. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. Attentive speaker, attentive hearer. we have forgotten from where the question came. Parikshit Maharaj remembering. So first 6.4, 1.2. Shri Rajo Vacha. You can chant with me. Deva Sunrinam Sargo Naganam Mrigapakshinam Samastiskyataya Prokto Yastu Swayam Bhuvantare Tasyeva Vyasamichami Gyatum Te Bhagavanyatha Anusargam Yaya Shaktya Sasarja Bhagavan Paraha. Yeah, translation please.
The blessed king said to Shuddha Goswami, My dear Lord, the demigods, demons, human beings, nagas, beasts and birds were created during the reign of Swayambhu. We have spoken about this creation briefly in the 3rd canto. Now I wish to know about it elaborately. I also wish to know about the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he brought about the secondary creation.
Yeah. So he says, Naganam Mriga Pakshinam Samasikas. Samasikas, you have spoken of Tvaya Prokto. You have spoken in brief. But Tasyeva Vyasam Ichchami. Now I want to hear in detail. That is Parikshit Maharaj. He is about to leave his body in the next 3-4 days. But he wants to know about Visarga in detail. Okay. Right. So Shri Sutta Uvacha Iti Samprashamakarnyam Rajarshi Badarayani Pratinandya Mahayogi Jagada Munisattamam. Yeah.
Sutta Goswami said, O great sages assembled at Nemisarne. After the great yogi Sukdev Goswami heard King Parikshit's inquiry, he praised it and thus replied.
So this is a common phenomenon we see in Srimad Bhagavatam. The speaker is praising the question of the hearer, audience. Pratinandya, Mahayogi, Jagada, Munisattama. And Sud Goswami is praising the sages at Naimisharanya. He is calling them Munisattama. Okay? And Parikshit Maharaj, and he is also praising. Shukdev Goswami is also praising Parikshit Maharaj. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yada Pachetasa Putra Dasha Prachina Barhisha Anta Samudrad Unmagna Dadarsha Gam Drumai Vratam.
Sukadeva Goswami said, when the 10 sons of Prachina Bari emerged from the waters in which they were performing austerities, they saw that the entire surface of the world was covered by trees.
Yeah. Dadarshu Gam Drumir Vratam. They saw the whole earth was covered by trees. Okay. So we know that Prachin Bharishat also renounced the kingdom and he didn't wait for his sons to come back. Okay. Narad Muni had injected so much of renunciation in him, he just couldn't wait. He just left the kingdom. Okay. So very nice principle. When we are fully convinced that we have to just surrender our life to Krishna, then we should not wait for anything. Then we can give up on lower responsibility. Sarv dharma parityajat mahamekam sharanam raja. Prachin Bhari was fully convinced. Now no time. Already I have wasted so much of time. Now I can give up my lower responsibilities. Till that conviction comes, we may continue with our lower responsibilities. But once that conviction has come, that faith is there, then Prachin Bhari said, okay. Now just imagine, in the kingdom there is no king. बेटे भी और बाप भी दोनों बाहर हैं. So the trees thought अब दोनों मस्ती कर रहे हो, हम क्या करें? So they also grew unlimitedly. They covered the whole earth because there was no rules, regulation, nothing was there. So they did that. So Prabhupada is mentioning when the government neglects agriculture, second paragraph, which is necessary for the production of food, the land becomes covered with unnecessary trees. Okay, right? Fifth, Drumebhya क्रुधयामानस्ते तपोदीपेतमन्यवः मुक्तो वायुमग्निं च ससृजोस्तद दिग्दक्षया.
Because of having undergone long austerities in the water, the Prachetas were very angry at the trees. Desiring to burn them to ashes, they generated wind and fire from their mouths.
Yeah, okay. So, interestingly, tapodipitamanyevaha, although they were performing austerities in the water, still they were very hot. Then, due to the austerities, they got angry. Okay. So, all these secondary qualities, tapa, charity, brahmacharya, they all are useful if they are helping us in devotional service. Which is that verse? Bhagavad Bhakti hinasya jati shasi chapatupa apranasya dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. So, if they are not helping in devotional service, they are not useful. Okay. So, trees of that age also had advanced consciousness. Okay. We'll see that these trees only took care of the girl, Marisha, who was married to these 10 Pachetas. Okay. So, when they saw there was no kingdom, say they grew unlimitedly, but Pachetas got very angry. So, Srila Prabhupada is writing the purport very nicely. But when the devotees perform austerity, Prabhupada is writing third line from the top. Although devotees undergo severe tapasya, however, they are vimanvyeva, sadhava, which means they are never angry. Okay. So sometimes we may perform austerities and we may get irritated inside and we may react in an angry manner, but that's not good. Okay. So that kind of dry austerity is not recommended for devotees. So one should know his level. In the 11th canto it will come, then one should not pull his mind too tight. It's like pulling the string, the reins of the horse. If you pull it too tight, the horse will go mad. Okay. Similarly, sometimes we may become too harsh on ourselves. Okay. So if you become too much of austerities, the mind will rebel. And internally the mind gets very frustrated, and that frustration comes out in the form of anger. Okay, so in that way one should gradually increase his austerity. If we are performing austerity and coming Vaishnava offense, no use. Okay, so that way devotees should not become angry, but still we have some level of austerities. Prabhupada is writing, a sadhu, a devotee is never angry. Actually, the real feature of the devotee who undergo tapasya, austerity is forgiveness. Very beautiful statement. So, if the devotee, any example from Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotees have undergone austerity also and they are forgiving also, tolerant also. Amrish Maharaj, yes, and Ranti Dev, Nirjala for 48 days. Yeah. And Amrish Maharaj had fasted for 1 year. Okay, so much tolerant. So that is because our austerity, for us, austerity is Krishna consciousness. Okay, attentive japa is our austerity. Following the instruction of spiritual master is our austerity. So if you are following these instructions nicely, following the austerity nicely, our heart should become softer. Okay. But you are performing austerity, dry austerity, and heart is becoming harder, then something is wrong. Right? Similarly, Lakshmana. Lakshmana performed so many austerities for 14 years, didn't sleep. Okay? So, Prabhupada is writing, although a Vaishnava has sufficient power in tapasya, he does not become angry when put into difficulty. If one undergoes tapasya but does not become a Vaishnava, however, one does not develop good quality. Okay? Prabhupada is writing Hiranyakashipu and Ravan also performed austerities. Okay. So further down Prabhupada is writing, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this formula, Trinadepi Sunichen, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amani Namanden, Kirtaniya Sada Hari. Right. Okay. Tabhyam nirdihamanastam upalabhya kurudvaha rajovacha mahan somo manyum prashmanyai bhava.
My dear King Parikshit, when Soma, the king of the trees and predominating deity of the moon, saw the fire and wind burning all the trees to ashes, he felt great sympathy because he is the maintainer of all earths and trees. To appease the anger of the Prachetas, Soma spoke as follows.
So Soma is the king of the trees. So Prabhupada is writing last line. How can we believe that the maintainer of vegetation has no vegetation on his planet? You know, Soma is the king of the vegetation. When he is the king of vegetation, there has to be vegetation on the moon planet also. So how can we believe this scientist? Na drumebhyo mahabhaga dinebhyo dogdumarhatha vivardha yishavo juyam prajanam pataya smritaha.
O greatly fortunate one, you should not kill these poor trees by burning them to ashes. The duty is to reach the citizen, prajas, all prosperity and to act as their protectors.
Yeah. So na drumebhyo mahabhaga. Who is addressing whom? Addressing Prachetas. All the Prachetas are angry and they are burning all the trees. Soma is calling them what? Mahabhaga. Why is calling them Mahabhaga? Yeah, they got the Vishnu of Darshan, Vishnu also, and yeah, to pacify them. He had darshan of Shivaji also. They performed austerity also. Yes, they are highly fortunate. So he says, Mahabhaga dinebhyo. These trees are very, very, very poor. So they deserve to stay. They deserve to live. So Vivradrisho yuyam prajanam pateha smrita. You are the protector of whole praja. So why are you burning them? Similarly, we saw in the fourth canto when Dhruv Maharaj got extremely angry on Yaksha. So Manu came to pacify him. Ati Rosha at that case. Okay. So now we'll see that sometimes we may take disproportionate stand. Like extreme steps, thank you. Extreme steps create imbalance. Okay. Sometimes we become too lenient, or sometimes we become too strong, strict. So extremities always create imbalance. Sometimes we become too lenient. चलो सबको प्रसाद देना है. No, किसी को प्रसाद नहीं देना. So one should always have balance. So it was natural for the Prachetas to get angry that the whole earth is covered by trees. But they are burning all the trees. That was also not good. It was an extreme step. Similarly, Dhruv Maharaj, okay, he wanted to take revenge from the Yakshas, but he was killing diminishing the whole dynasty of Yaksha. That was not proper. Similarly, Shringi, when he saw Parikshit Maharaj had put that snake on his father, so okay, it was natural to get angry, but to curse him, give him death sentence, that was also disproportionate. So sometimes when we go to extreme sides, it creates imbalance. Okay. Aho prajapatir patir bhagwan hariravyaya vanaspatim oshadhim cha sasarjo urjam isham vibhu. Yes.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, is the master of all living entities, including all the Prajapatis, such as Lord Brahma. Because he is all-pervading and indestructible master, he has created all these trees and vegetables as eatables for other living entities.
Yeah. So three kinds of vegetation is mentioned. One is urjam. Now urjam refers to eatables other than grains. It is just for the Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. So other than grains, they are urjam. They are like fruits from the trees. Isham. Isham refers to grains like wheat, etc. And then Oshadhi. Grasses are like Oshadhi, medicines. Okay. Annam charanam achara hi apada padacharinam ahasta hasta yuktanam dvipadam cha chatushpadaha.
By nature's arrangement, fruits and flowers are considered the food of insects and birds. Grass and other legless living entities are meant to be the food of four-legged animals like cows and buffalo. Animals that cannot use their front legs as hands are meant to be the food of animals like tigers, which have claws. And four-legged animals like deer and goats, as well as food grains, are meant to be the food of human beings.
Okay, purport please. Read the purport.
By nature's law or the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one kind of living entity is eatable by other living entities. As mentioned here in Dvipadam cha Chatushpada, the four-legged animals Chatushpada as well as food grains are eatables for human beings Dvipadam. These four-legged animals are those such as deer and goats, not cows, which are meant to be protected. Generally, the higher classes of society, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, do not eat meat. Sometimes Kshatriyas go to the forest to kill animals like deer because they have to learn the art of killing, and sometimes they eat the animals also. Shudras too eat animals such as goats. Cows, however, are never meant to be killed or eaten by human beings. In every Shastra, cow killing is vehemently condemned. Indeed, one who kills a cow must suffer for as many years as there are hairs on the body of a cow. Manu Samhita says, Pravritti ek bhutanam nivrittistu mahabhala. We have many tendencies in this material world, but in human life, one is meant to learn how to curb these tendencies. Those who desire to eat meat may satisfy the demands of their tongues by eating lower animals, but they should never kill cows, who are actually accepted as the mothers of human society because they supply milk. The Shastra especially recommends Krishi Gorakshaya. The Vaishya section of humanity should arrange for the food of the entire society through agricultural activities and should give full protection to the cows, which are the most useful animals because they supply milk to human society.
Thank you. यूयं च पितॄन् वादिष्टा देवदेवेन च नघा प्रजा सर्वा हि कथं वृक्षा निर्दुग्धमर्हथा.
O pure-hearted one, your father, Prachin Badi, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead have ordered you to generate population. Therefore, how can you burn to ashes these trees and herbs, which are needed for the maintenance of your subjects and descendants?
Yeah, trees are also required for your praja, and trees also your praja. Atishtat satam margam kopam yachat deepitam pitra matamahenapi jushtam va prapitamahe.
The path of goodness traversed by your father, grandfather, and great grandfathers is that of maintaining the subjects, prajas, including the men, animals, and trees. That is the path you should follow. Unnecessary anger is contrary to your duty. Therefore, I request you to control your anger.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. Prabhupada is writing the word praja refers to one who has taken birth within the jurisdiction of the government. Okay. The exalted royal families were conscious that all living beings, whether human, animal, or lower than animals, should be given protection. Right. Tokanam pitaro bandhu druscha praksham striyapati pati pajanam bhikshunam grahagyanam buddha sruhita.
As the father and the mother are the friends and maintenance of the children, as the eyelid is the protector of the eye, as the husband is the maintainer and protector of a woman, as the householder is the maintainer and protector of the beggars, and as the learned is the friend of the ignorant. So the king is the protector and giver of life to all his subjects.
The trees are also subjects to the king, therefore they should be given protection.
Yeah, so he is giving 5 examples. Parents take care of the child, eyelids take care of the eyes, husband takes care of the wife, and the king takes care of his subjects, householder takes care of the bhikshus, and learned people take care of the ignorant. Similarly, you should take care of the trees. So, Prabhupada is writing in the purports. By the supreme will of the personality of Godhead, there are various protectors and maintainers for helpless living entities. Okay. The king is duty bound to protect the living entities in his kingdom. Thus, although the parents are directly responsible for the protection and maintenance of the children, the duty of the king is to see that all the parents do their duty properly. Similarly, king is also responsible for overseeing the other protectors mentioned in this verse. It may also be noted the beggars who should be maintained by the householders are not professional beggars but sannyasis and brahmanas to whom the householder should supply food and clothing. Okay. Right. Similarly, if I am temple president, I have to see that all the departments are working nicely. So king has to ensure that all the protectors are protecting their subjects nicely. Okay, and he should also protect. Antardeshu bhutanam atmaste haridishvara sarvam tavradhishnam ikshadvam evam vastoshito hyasu.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated as the super soul within the course of the heart of all living entities, whether moving or non-moving, including men, birds, animals, trees, and indeed all living entities. Therefore, you should consider every body a residence or a temple of the Lord. By such a vision, you will satisfy the Lord. You should not angrily kill these living entities in the form of trees.
Yeah, so he's saying what? He's saying Antardehishu bhutanam atmaste haririshvara. Inside all living entities, the Lord resides as Hari. Sarvam tabdhishnam ikshvadvam evam vas toshito hyasu. So you should see Iksha, you should see that all living entities have Vishnu inside them. So that will satisfy the Lord. Okay. So here in the 8 verses from verse number 6 to 13, Soma, the moon god, is trying to give good advice, like Sam, is trying to pacify the prachetas. Okay, and the purport Prabhupada is writing, since everyone body is the residence of Supreme Lord, one should not destroy the body because of unnecessary envy. Okay, that will dissatisfy the super soul. Similarly, if you remember the 4th canto, Narada Muni also told Prachetas, Tushyati Ashu Janardana. Remember that verse? Daya sarvabhuteshu santushta yena kenava sarvendriyopshantyacha tushyati ashu janardana. Here now Soma is also telling them Prachetas that mastu toshyati hiya. So if you see the Supreme Lord in all living entities, be merciful to them, then you will satisfy Lord Hari. या समुत्पतितं देह आकाशान्मनिम् उल्बणम् आत्मजिज्ञासया यच्छेत् सा गुणानतिवर्तते.
One who inquires into such realization and thus subdues his powerful anger, which awakens suddenly in the body as if falling from the sky, transcends the influence of the modes of material nature.
So anger sometimes suddenly rises as if it has fallen from sky. It cannot be controlled. No? But what is that method being told? How to control the anger? What this verse is saying? No, here, in this verse. Inquiring into self-realization. Okay. So now, in the previous 7 verses, he was applying the technique of Sama. Now he is applying the technique of Bheda. If you are overwhelmed by the anger, then you will be consumed by the 3 modes of nature. Okay. Prabhupada is writing, please read the purport, first few lines.
When one becomes angry, he forgets himself and his situation. But if one is able to consider his situation by knowledge, one transcends the influence of the modes of material nature. One is always a servant of lusty desires, anger, greed, illusion, envy, and so forth. But if one obtains sufficient strength in spiritual advancement, when one can control them.
Yeah. So even in one letter to Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada is writing, although we are in the midst of ignorance, but if we remain alert, we can be saved from ignorance. Okay. So one has to remain alert. Otherwise, sometimes we may just get provoked. We may have done good morning program also, everything is good. All of a sudden something happens, anger arises. Okay. So if that anger arises, if we are not able to control that, then we will be consumed by three modes of nature. Okay. So at that time, one should use his knowledge. Okay, I am not this body, I am the soul. The anger is very harmful for me. So at that time, one should subdue his anger by self-realization. And if you're not able to do that, then we will be consumed by three modes of nature. Okay, so that is a bhed. He's trying to create some fear in him, right? Prabhupada is writing further down. By engaging one in devotional service, the Krishna conscious movement keeps one always transcendental to anger, greed, lust, envy, and so forth. One must perform devotional service because otherwise one will become victimized by the modes of material nature. Okay, long back in Back to Godhead magazine, His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj has written an article, be a victor or victim. It depends on us. We can be a victor of three modes of nature or we can be a victim of three modes of nature. Okay, so we have to be victor, right? Alam dagde drumardinai khilanam shivam astuva vakshi hi esha varakanya patnitve pratigrihatam.
There is no need to burn these poor trees any longer. Let whatever trees still remain be happy. Indeed, we should also be happy. Now here is a beautiful, well-qualified girl named Marisa, who was raised by the trees as their daughter. You may accept this beautiful girl as your wife.
So after Sam, Bhed and now Dan. He's giving Dan. And Sandhi हो रही है दो राजाओं के बीच में. Like the kings used to do Sandhi like this. And they used to give their daughter to the king. So Som is giving daughter to the king. Now the trees you are burning, they will become your father-in-law. Now the trees, you cannot burn your father-in-law. So trees, this Marisha, she is called Varkshi. Varkshi because raised by the trees. Vriksha, because she has been raised by the trees, she is called Varkshi. He am Vara Kanya. Okay. Iti आमंत्रे वारोहम कन्या आपसारिम आपसरासिम नृप समो राजा ययौ दत्वा ते धर्मेण उपयेमरे.
Shukdev Goswami continued, my dear king, after the specifying the Prachetas, Soma, the king of the moon, gave them the beautiful girl born of Pramlocha Apsara. The Prachetas all received Pramlocha daughter, who had high, very beautiful hips, and married her according to the religious system.
तेभ्यस्तस्यां संभवद दक्षा प्राचेतसः किला यस्य प्रजा विसर्गेण लोका आपूर्ति तस्या.
In the home of that girl, the Prachetas all begot a son named Daksha, who filled the three world living entities.
Okay.
Daksha was first born in the reign of Swayambhu Manu, but because of killing Shiva, he was punished by having a head of goat substituted for his own head. Thus insulted, he had to give up that body, and the sixth Manvantara, called Chakshusha Manvantara, he was born of the womb of Marisha as Daksha. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes this verse. Chakshushetavantare prapte raksari sarge kala vikrute yatya sarja ishkas adarsh. His previous body had been destroyed, but he, the same Daksha, inspired by the Supreme Will, created all the desired divinities in the Chakshusha Manvantara, 439. Thus, Daksha regained his previous opulence and again he got thousands and millions of children to fill the fields.
Actually, there is some mistake in this purport. I don't know, some typing mistake. Daksha was not born as a son of Marisha in the sixth Manvantara, in the first Manvantara itself. And for 5 Manvantaras he performed austerities. And then in the sixth mantra, he started creating generation, begetting generation. So if you read this 4, 30, 49, Vaibhav was writing this. In the sixth mantra, he didn't marry Marisha, he started generation, begetting generation.
After marrying Marisha, we did the rest of
5 mantras.
Married at the first
Yeah, married in the first mantra. This should tell Anand Tirth Prabhu, it has to be rechecked why this anomaly is there. Yaya sasarja bhutani daksho druhita vatsala retasa manasa chaiva tanma ma vihita shrinu.
Shukadeva Goswami continued, please hear from me with great attention how Prajapati Daksha, who was very affectionate to his daughters, created different types of living entities through his semen and through his mind.
So he is called Druhit Vatsala. That means he didn't have son. We'll study. He had son, but they were useless. They were made useless by Narad Muni. Okay. Mansa Vesa Jatpurvam Prajapati Ima Praja Devasur Manusyadin Nabhasthala Jalokasa.
With his mind, Prajapati Daksha first created all kinds of demigods, demons, human beings, birds, beasts, Vedics, and so on.
Yeah. Next translation also.
But when Prajapati Daksha saw that he was not properly generating all kinds of living entities, he approached a mountain near the Vindhya mountain range, and there he executed very difficult austerities.
Next, please.
Near that mountain was a very holy place named Agavarshana. There Prajapati Daksha executed ritualistic ceremonies and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari by engaging in great austerities to please him.
Next.
My dear King, I shall fully explain to you the Hamsikuhya prayers which were offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Daksha, and I shall explain how the Lord was pleased with him for those prayers.
Yeah. So the Hamsikuhya prayers were not composed by Daksha, but were existing in the Vedic literature. So from here, the Hamsikuhya prayer starts. Shri Prajapati Rovacha Namah Paraya Gunatrayabhyas Nimite Bandhave Adrishtadhamne Gunatattva Buddhibhi Nibrattamanaya Dade Swayambhuve. Yes.
Prajapati Daksha said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the illusory energy and the physical categories it produces. He possesses the potency for unfailing knowledge and the supreme willpower, and he is the controller of controller of the living entities and the illusory energy. The conditioned soul who have accepted this material manifestation as everything cannot see him, for he is above the evidence of experimental knowledge, self-evident and self-sufficient. He is not caused by any superior cause. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Yeah. There are around 6 qualities of the Lord as being mentioned. First is Paraya. Namaha Paraya. Paraya means he is superior to the Jiva, superior to Maya and Maya's products. Okay. Then Avithana Bhutaye. Avithana Bhutaye means that he is real knowledge. He is revealed because of real knowledge. Avithan Anubhute. Prabhupada is writing Avitha is correct. Anubhute, unto him the whole spiritual potency brings about the realization of him. So he is, because he is revealed by real knowledge, that's why he is superior. So he is Paraya Anvithaya Bhutaya Gunatrayabhas Nimitta Bandhave. Gunatraya Nimitta Bandhave. Bandhave means he is the controller of the 3 modes of nature. And Abhasa. Abhasa means the Jiva. Jiva has a Abhasa of being a Purush, but he is the controller of both Jiva and Maya. This is the 3rd quality. The other is Adrishta Dhamane. He is not seen. He is not visible. To whom Guna Tattva Buddhibhi. by those whose intelligence is absorbed in material objects. Guna Tattva Buddhavi, for them he is Adrishta Dhamane, he is not visible. Okay, this is the fourth one. And the fifth is Nivrittamanaya. Nivrittamanaya. Nivrittamanaya means he is beyond, he has surpassed all material measurements. His quality is always expanding, it cannot be measured. It is said the scientists can count the number of atoms in the universe, but when we cannot measure the Lord. Okay, Nivrittamanaya, then Swayambhuve, he is self-manifest. So there are total 6 qualities of the Lord are mentioned here, right? So Prabhupada is also writing the first line about Adrishta Dhamne. The transcendental position of Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained herewith is not perceivable by the conditioned souls who are accustomed to material vision. Okay, Adrishta Dhamne Guna Tattva Buddhibhi. To those conditioned souls who are accustomed to material vision, cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists in his abode, which is beyond the vision. Even if the materialist person could count all the items in the universe, he would still be unable to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what? What is this? Nivrittamanaya. Okay. Then Prabhupada is writing the last. If absolute truth is beyond measurement, one may ask, how can one realize him? The answer is given here by the word Swayambhuve. One may understand him or not, but nevertheless is existing in his own spiritual potency. Okay. So here the translational position of the Lord is explained. Now the next verse. Nayasya sakhyam purusho veti sakhyam sakha vasansam vasata puresmin guno yatha gunino vyakta drishte tasmai maheshaya namaskaromi. Translation, please.
As the sense object, form, taste, touch, smell, and sound, cannot understand how the senses perceive them, so conditioned soul, although residing in his body along with the super soul, cannot understand how the supreme spiritual person, the master of the material creation, directs his senses. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the supreme person, who is the supreme controller.
So the previous verse says Adrishta Dhamne, he is not visible, okay, he is unseen. So how it is he is unseen, it is being again explained. So Nayasya Sakhyam Purushaveti Sakhyu Sakha Vasan Sammasatah Puresmin. All the Lord as a friend is residing in the same body. Sakha Vasan Samvasatah Puresmin. He is residing in the same body and he is directing the senses of the soul, but the soul cannot know the super soul. The example is given, Guno yatha gunino vyakta drishte. Like the sense objects cannot know how the senses are perceiving them. Rasgulla doesn't know how the tongue tastes my sweetness. But the tongue gets the sweetness of Rasgulla. Rasgulla is not aware. Similarly, a living entity is not aware how the super soul is inspiring him to enjoy the sense objects. Okay? He is a friend residing within the same body, but the living entity is not aware of that. As the sense objects are not aware how the senses are able to perceive them. Such a nice example. Tasmai Maheshaya Namaskaromi. I offer my obeisance to that supreme controller. Clear, no? So, Prabhupada is writing in between. Actually, the super soul is directing the working of one's senses in the enjoyment of sense objects. But as the sense objects cannot see the senses, the conditioned souls cannot see the directing soul. The conditioned soul has desires and the Supreme Soul fulfills them, but the conditioned soul is unable to see the Supreme Soul. Okay? The conditioned soul may feel the friendliness of someone, but is not able to know him. You know? That way. Okay? Dehasvaksha manavobhuta matra matmanya manyam chavidu paramyat sarvam puman veda gunascha tadgyo na veda sarvagyam anantamire.
Because there are only matter, the body,
the life aids, the external and internal senses, the five gross elements, and the subtle sense objects, form, taste, smell, sound, and touch, cannot know their own nature. The nature of the other senses are the nature of their controllers. But the living being, because of his spiritual nature, can know his body, the life, aids, the senses, the elements, and sense objects. And he can also know the three qualities that form their roots. Nevertheless, although the living being is completely aware of them, he is unable to see the Supreme Being, who is omniscient and unlimited. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Now in the previous verse I said, okay, we may see that, okay, the sense objects cannot know, the Lord. But Jiva is conscious, he can know the Lord. He said, no. Jiva is conscious, but he is unconscious of the Lord. Sense objects are unconscious, they are dead matter, they cannot know the Lord. But Jiva being conscious should be able to know the Lord. No. Jiva is conscious, but is unconscious of the Lord. This is explained in this verse. Okay. So, Deha means this body, Asva means life ears, Aksha means eyes, Manvo, Bhuta Matram, all these physical elements, Atmanyam Anyam Cha Vibhu Paramyat, by their own, by others, they cannot know the living entity. But Sarvam Pumana Ved Gunanshu Tatgyo, but the living entity knows everything. Living entity knows body, life, fear, everything. And living entity also knows when the living entity is liberated. Living entity also knows Tatgya, Paramatma. Living entities can know Gunas also. Living entities can know Paramatma also. But Naved Sarvagyam Anantam Ide. But living entity, the soul, cannot know the unlimited, all-knowing Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the most, the living entity can know Paramatma. It cannot know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Next will come, how will come to know, but generally is not able to know. Right. So, Prabhupada is also writing, material scientists can make an analytical study of the physical elements, the body, senses, sense objects, and even the air that controls the vital force, but they still cannot understand that above all this is a real spirit soul. In other words, living entity, because of being a spirit soul, can understand all the material objects, or when self-realized, he can understand the Paramatma upon whom the yogis meditate. Nevertheless, living entity, even if advanced, cannot understand the Supreme Being because he is unlimited. Okay. So, then how we can know? Yada Paramarmo Manaso Nama Rupa Rupasya Drishta Smriti Sampramosha Ya Iyate Kevalaya Savasanstya Hansaya Tasmai Shushi Sadmane Namaha.
When one's consciousness is completely purified of the contamination of material existence, gross and subtle, without being agitated as in the working and dreaming states, and when the mind is not dissolved as in susupti, deep sleep, one comes to the platform of trance. Then one's material vision and the memories of the mind, which manifest names and forms, are vanquished. Only in such a trance in the Supreme Personality of Godhead revealed. Thus, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seen in that uncontaminated transcendental state.
Okay. So, previous verse says the living entity cannot know the Lord. Okay. So, in this matter, there are two aspects. One is the impersonal aspect of the Lord, another is the personal aspect of the Lord. Which is easier to know, impersonal aspect or the personal? No, it is impersonal. Personal aspect is very difficult to comprehend. How can a person, small coward boy, can be creator of all the universe? It's very difficult. Who created him? So nothing, no form, nothing. Everything has come from just Brahma. Because it is very easy to get frustrated with the material creation and then assume neti. The absolute truth must be negative version of this. If you negate all this, then that whatever remains that is absolute truth. It is still by logic, it is easy to understand. But a positive aspect of absolute truth, that okay, he is beyond all this, he is not this, not this, not this, but it's something else. One person who is doing all this. It's very difficult to comprehend, not so easy to realize. Although the process of realizing personality of form of Godhead is easy, the process to realize the impersonal Brahman is more difficult. But logically, if we see, it is easy to comprehend, yes, the absolute truth can be impersonal knowledge. That way. We are fortunate because right from the day one, we know that absolute truth is a person. So for us, it has become very normal truth. But for a beginner, if you see, logically, if you see, so it is easy to comprehend that absolute truth must be impersonal. Right? So now that aspect is being stressed. But Prabhupada, as usual, in all the purports, he will not give any chance. In the purport, all Prabhupada is heading on personal. So, but Prabhupada is mentioning in the beginning. Please read. There are two stages of God realization.
There are two stages of God realization. One is called Sukeyam, or very easily understood, generally by mental speculation, and the other is called Durkeyam, understood only with difficulty. Paramatma realization and Brahman realization are considered Sukeyam, but realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Durkeyam. As described here, one attains the ultimate realization of the Personality of Godhead when one gives up the activities of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing. Or in other words, when mental speculation stops. This transcendental realization is above Susupti, deep sleep. In our gross conditional stage, we perceive things through material experience and remembrance, and in the subtle stage, we perceive the world in dreams. The process of vision also involves remembrance and also exists in a subtle form. Our gross experience and dream is Susupti, deep sleep, and when one comes to the completely spiritual platform transcending deep sleep, he attains trance, Vishuddha Sattva, or Vasudeva Sattva, in which the personality of Godhead is revealed. Atah Shri Krishna Nama Dina Bhavet Grahyam Indriye. As long as one is situated in duality on the sensual platform, gross or subtle realization of the original personality of Godhead is impossible. Sevan Mukhe Jihvado Sanya Vispurat Yada. But when one engages his senses in the service of the Lord, specifically when one engages the tongue in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and tasting only Krishna Prasad with a spirit of service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed. This is indicated in this verse by the word Suchi Sadmane. Suchi means purified. By the spirit of rendering service with one's senses, one's entire existence becomes Suchi Sadmane, the platform of uncontaminated purity. Daksha therefore offers his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is revealed on the platform of Suchi Sadhana. In this regard, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following prayer by Lord Brahma from the Srimad Bhagavatam: Tadha Vibhuman Mahima Urashyate Vibodhum Arhati Amalantaratmabhi. One whose heart has become completely purified, my Lord, can understand the transcendental qualities of your Lordship and can understand the greatness of your activities.
Okay. Manishano antar hridhi saniveshtitam swashakti bhina vesha trividdhavi mahanim yatha daruni panchadasyam manishaya nishkarshanti godam savai mameshwa visheshamaya nisheda nirvana sukhanubhuti sa sarvanama sacha vishwarupa Prasidhata mani ruktatma shakti.
Just as great learned brahmanas who are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifice can extract the fire dormant within wooden flute by chanting the 15 Samidhini mantras, thus proving the efficacy of the Vedic mantras. So those who are actually advanced in consciousness, in other words, those who are Krishna conscious, can find the super soul, who by his own spiritual potency is situated within the heart. The heart is covered by the three modes of material nature and the nine material elements. Material nature, the total material energy, the ego, the mind, and the five objects of sense gratification, and also by the five material elements and the 10 senses. These 27 elements constitute the external energy of the Lord. Great yogis meditate upon the Lord, who is situated as the Supersoul, Paramatma, within the core of the heart. May that Supersoul be pleased with me. The Supersoul is realized when one is eager for liberation from the unlimited varieties of material life. One actually attains such liberation when he engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord and realizes the Lord because of his attitude of service. The Lord may be addressed by various spiritual names which are inconceivable to the material senses. When will that Supreme Personality of Godhead be pleased with me?
Yeah, so very important concepts. What are the important concepts you found in this translation?
Devotees can find the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a super soul in one's heart,
Like?
whereas others cannot understand the presence of super soul.
Yeah, and what is the example given?
Fire.
Just by chanting of the mantras, they can ignite fire from the wood. Similarly, where devotees can get to know the Supreme Soul. Other point?
When he realizes the super soul, when one is eager for liberation.
Yes, one will realize the Super Soul when one is very eager for liberation. Lolyam, api ekalam mulyam. No?
And then the next stage is engaging in transcendental level service to God and realizing the Lord.
Yeah. Okay.
Attitude of service.
Attitude of service and eagerness. Okay. That's the three very important concepts, right?
They refer total material energy. This is what.
Yeah.
9 material elements.
Yeah.
Material nature, total material energy. So this is what.
Pradhan. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
in this verse, previously the verse, the categorization are there between the yogis and the person who want to realize the Bhagavan feature. But in this verse, Prabhupada is mentioning directly the word Krishna consciousness. Krishna conscious person can find the super soul. And below is mentioning the yogis.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is always, Prabhupada is directly always, even if the verse is saying about impersonal thing, Prabhupada is directly stressing upon the personal part. In the previous verse was only for impersonal realization. But Prabhupada straight away said, no, Shuchi Sadhme means directly seeing the Lord. So this verse is about, again, realization of Super Soul. But again, Prabhupada is stressing this. Yeah. Okay. So.
Also, here one line is there. The Lord may be addressed by various spiritual names which are inconceivable to material senses.
Yeah.
Please describe it.
Yes, Lord has many inconceivable names. Girdhari, how we can lift the Govardhan, Then so many names. Makhanchor. So they are inconceivable. Ras Bihari. Ranchor.
How like inconceivable?
How can Lord be Ranchor? Can run away from the battle? No. Parthasarathi also, yeah.
Yes, secondary names are also inconceivable in one sense.
Secondary names are also.
Prabhupada is that in the translation came two translations before. The Lord is the Ananta, whose glories cannot be known.
Ananta.
Secondary names also are
Yeah. Secondary names also inconceivable. How can we Ananta? No.
So inconceivable in terms of that is understanding, like Ranchor.
Yes, understand.
Also the potency.
Also the potency, yeah.
Potency wise also. We are not able to understand.
Yes, exactly. So read the purport, please. Prabhupada is writing that in his commentary, now this verse is talking about the personal form of the Lord. In his commentary of this verse, Srila Vishnu Thakur uses the word Durvegyam, which means very difficult to realize. That is the personal form. Okay. Yesham Tondakata Papam Jaranam Punya Karmanam Teyudvandam Mohipta Bhayante Ma Dridvita. Then also Gita also says Satatam Kirtayanto Ma Yatantasya Dridvita. Then Manishyanam Sahaseshu Kashitati Siddhaye. Then Bhaktya Ma Vijanati Yavana Shasmi Tatvita. Okay. So read from here. Thus, although the subject matter is Durvigyam,
extremely difficult to understand it. Thus, although the subject matter is Durvigyam, extremely difficult to understand. It becomes easy if one follows the prescribed method. Coming in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible through pure devotional service, which begins with Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.5. Pravishta Karnarandrena Swanam Sarvarupam. The process of hearing and chanting enters the core of the heart, and in this way one becomes a pure devotee. By continuing this process, one comes to the stage of transcendental love and then appreciates the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, a pure devotee, by devotional service, is able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, despite many material impediments, which are all various energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Easily making his way through these impediments, a devotee comes directly in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After all, the material impediments described in these verses are but various energies of the Lord. When a devotee is eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he prays to the Lord. Ainandatanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhava buddha kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuri sadrisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Being pleased with the devotee, the Lord turns all his material impediments into spiritual service. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes a verse from the Vishnu Purana. Lalini Sandini Samve Tvayeka Sarvasamisto Ladabhagavadhimita Tvayino Gunavarpite. In the material world, the spiritual energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is manifested as tapakari, which means causing miseries. Everyone hankers for happiness, but although happiness originally comes from the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the material world, because of material activities, the pleasure potency of the Lord becomes a source of miseries. Lada tapakari. False happiness in the material world is the source of distress. But when one's endeavor for happiness are redirected towards the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this tapakari element of misery is vanquished. An example given in this connection is that extracting fire from wood is certainly difficult, but when fire comes out, it burns the wood to ashes. In other words, experiencing the Supreme Personality of Godhead is extremely difficult for those devoid of devotional service. But everything becomes easier for a devotee, and thus he can very easily meet the Supreme Lord. Here the prayers say that the form of the Lord is beyond the jurisdiction of material form and is therefore inconceivable. A devotee prays, however, my dear Lord, be pleased with me, so that I may very easily see your transcendental form and potency. Non-devotees try to understand the Supreme Brahman by discussions of neti, Nisheda Nirvana, Sukha Anubhuti. A devotee, however, simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, avoids such laborious speculations and realizes the existence of the Lord very easily.
yeah, okay. That's a very interesting statement after this verse. Ainanda Tanuja Kenkara. Opposite writing, being pleased with the devotee, the Lord turns all his material impediments into spiritual service. What does that mean?
It means the devotees who are engaged in devotion service, they will get pleasure, ananda, while serving the Lord.
All material impediments into spiritual service means
It's like impersonalists, they do mental speculation, but the devotee through devotion service, that same mind functions, means he can think and feel for Krishna in this way.
Yeah.
That becomes the object, means sansadhana.
Instruments for service. Yes, exactly. Otherwise, all these our material conditioning, all these material elements are impediments for some understanding something which is transcendental. But if we have a service attitude, the Lord is pleased, then everything is used for the service of the Lord. Yeah. The same mind, same intelligence, then we can try to understand the Lord. We can use it in the service of the Krishna. Right? Okay.
His vision changes.
His vision changes.
This is writing also interpret that how the mental element previously that all the material impediments which are caused by the Lord itself are the energies of the Lord.
Are the energies of the Lord.
And then I think he's missing for changes because impulses don't have any criteria to include all those things or use hands like eyes and legs for service of the Lord. Spiritual service is opportunity to.
Yeah. So all their material energies, only energies of the Lord. When the Lord is pleased, so the devotee is able to use all these energies in the service of the Lord. Niruktam vachasa nirupitam dhiya akshaviva manosatayasya ma bhutswarupam gunarupahi tat save gunapya visarga lakshana.
Anything expressed by material vibrations, anything ascertained by material intelligence, and anything experienced by the material senses or concocted within the material mind is but an effect of the modes of material nature, and therefore has nothing to do with the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is beyond the creation of this material world, for he is the source of the material qualities and creation. As the cause of all causes, he exists before the creation, after the creation. I wish to offer my respectful obeisance unto him.
Yeah. So all the words and intelligence, they are all coming from Maya only. So whatever is concluded by our words and intelligence is also Maya. So they cannot be the form of the Lord. Okay, that's why it is said anything expressed by material vibrations, material intelligence, experienced by material senses, concocted within the mind is but an effect of modes of material nature. If it has nothing to do with the real nature of the supreme form, then God is beyond this material world. Okay. So that doesn't mean, then what does it mean? We are studying this through words only, we are describing the Lord. Okay. But when these words become, imbued with the service attitude, then they reveal the Lord. Okay. So which are the words which are favorable, which are favored by the Lord. So it all depends on our service attitude. Okay. So you can read this purport.
One who manufactures names, form, qualities, or paraphernalia pertaining to the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot understand him, since he is beyond creation. The Supreme Lord is the creator of everything, and this means that he existed when there was no creation. In other words, his name, form, and qualities are not materially created entities. They are transcendental always. Therefore, by your material concoctions, vibrations, and thoughts, we cannot ascertain the Supreme Lord. This is explained in the verse Atah Sri Krishna Navadi Navahya Graham Indriya. Prajit asked Daksha, herein offer prayers unto the transcendence, not to anyone within the material creation. Only fools and rascals think God a material creation. This is confirmed by Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Avdananti Mamoda Manashintanamasitam Param Bhava Vedananto Mabhutam Ishvara. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and the supreme Lord of all the entity. Therefore, one must receive knowledge from a person to whom the Lord has revealed himself. There is no value in creating an imaginary form or form for the Lord. Sripad Shankaracharya was an impersonalist, but nevertheless he said, Narayana Paro Avyaktar. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not a person of the material world. We cannot assign Narayan a material designation as the foolish attempt to do when they speak of Daridra Narayan, poor Narayan. Narayana is always transcendental, beyond this material creation. How can he become Daridra Narayan? Poverty is found within the material world, but in the spiritual world there is no such thing as poverty. Therefore, the idea of Daridra Narayan is merely a concoction. Daksh very carefully points out that material designations cannot be names of the perceived Lord. Yat yam niruktam vachasa nirupitam. Nirukta refers to the Vedic dictionary. One cannot properly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead merely by picking up expressions from a dictionary. In praying to the Lord, Daksha does not wish material names or forms to be the objects of his worship. Rather, he wants to worship the Lord who existed before the creation of material dictionaries and names. As confirmed in the Vedas, Taittiriya Upanishad 241, Yat Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasa Saha. The name, form, attributes, and paraphernalia of the Lord cannot be ascertained through a material dictionary. However, if one reaches the transcendental platform of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes well acquainted with everything, material and spiritual. This confirmed in another Vedic mantra, Tam eva vidit vati mrityum iti. If one somehow or other, by the grace of the Lord, understand the transcendental position of the Lord, one becomes eternal. This is further confirmed by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tattva one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, takes his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna. Simply by understanding the Supreme Lord, one goes beyond birth, death, old age, and disease. Sri Sukadeva Goswami therefore advised Maharaj Parishit in Sri Bhagavatam, Tasma Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari Shokapya Kirtya O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries.
Yes. Okay. So it is said that these material forms are not the Sarup of the Lord. Okay. So if the material forms are not the Sarup of the Lord, that means the Lord is incomplete? No, Lord is not incomplete. Everything has come from the Lord. Everything merges into the Lord. This is a very interesting verse. Okay. Yasmin yato ye nacha yasya yasmai yadyo yatha kurute karyate cha paravaresham paramam prak prasiddham tat brahma tad detu anurayanda ekam. Okay.
The Supreme Brahman, Krishna, is the ultimate resting place and source of everything. Everything is done by him, everything belongs to him, and everything is offered to him. He is the ultimate objective, and whether acting or causing others to act, he is the ultimate doer. There are many causes, high and low, but since he is the cause of all causes, he is well known as the Supreme Brahman who existed before all activities. He is one without a second and has no other cause. I therefore offer my respects unto him.
Yeah. So he says, Yasmin, in whom, that is, he is the ultimate resting place. Yato. Yato means from whom everything has come. That means he is the ultimate source. Yena. Yena means by whom. By whom means he is the ultimate actor. Okay. Then Yasya. Yasya means to whom everything belongs. Okay. That means he is the ultimate proprietor. Then Yasmai, to whom everything is offered. That means he is the ultimate beneficiary. Okay. Then Yadyo. Yadyo means to which. This is the ultimate object. No? So Yadyo yatha kurute karyatecha. And he is the ultimate doer. So he is ultimate everything. Interestingly, King Kulshekhar in Mukundmala's throat, if you see the verse 43, he uses almost the same verse, Can you see in your computers? MMS, Mukundmala's throat. 43. It's coming on the screen. Shloka 43. Yeah. Krishna Tishtasti Vishwam Etad Akhilam Ha Krishna Rakshasoma. Yeah, please.
May Krishna, the spiritual master of three worlds, protect us. Continually bow down to Krishna. Krishna has killed all our enemies. Obeisances to Krishna. From Krishna alone, this world has come into being. I am the servant of Krishna. This entire universe rests within Krishna. Oh Krishna, please protect me.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. We'll go back to that verse. Okay. I think this was some other verse, I made a mistake.
One more verse comes. Vasudeva, when he prays to Krishna, similar verse comes.
What is that?
I don't exactly remember the verse.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, you can check up and then let us know. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next verse. My iPad got stuck. Okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, verse number 31. Yachaktayo vadatam vadinam ve vivad samvad bhuto bhavanti kurvanti chaisham muhuratma moham tasmai namo ananta gunaya bhume.
Let me offer my spiritual obeisances to all pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, who possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, acting from within the core of the heart of all philosophers, who propagate various views, who causes them to forget their own souls while sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Thus, he creates within this material world a situation in which they are unable to come to a conclusion. I offer my obeisances unto him.
Okay. So when we see people getting bewildered, different philosophies, different arguments, then what should we do? We should realize it is all the potency of external potency of the Lord. So we should offer obeisance to the Lord. Wow, kya maya aapki. Okay. Yeah. So when this samvad means each party is consolidating the same conclusion. And there's a vivad, that means inconclusive debate. Okay. So tasmai namo ananta gunaya bhumne. So I offer my obeisances to the Lord who has unlimited transcendental attributes. Yes, Prabhu.
10 to 85.4.
10?
10.85.4.
1085.4. 10. Yeah, yes, very nice. Yatro yena yato yasya yasmai yadyatha yada syad idam bhagavan sakshat pradhana purusheshwara. Yeah, very nice verse. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead who manifests as the Lord of both nature and creator of nature. Everything that comes into existence and however and whenever it does so is created within you, by you, from you, for you, in relation to you. Thank you. Good verse. Yeah. Okay. So whenever we see any dispute, it is all due to bewildering potency, external potency. Okay. So since time immemorial, or since the creation of cosmic manifestation, the conditioned souls have formed various parties of philosophical speculation, but thus this is not the true of devotees. Okay. You see, correct answer is one only. 2 plus 2 is equal to one answer. Incorrect answers, how many there will be? Infinite. So, who is the cause of all causes? Krishna only. One answer is correct. But so many speculations, incorrect. Unlimited answers can be there. So, unlimited philosophies are there, arguments are there. Okay. Non-devotees have different ideas of creation, maintenance, annihilation, and therefore they are called Vadis and Prativadis. Proponents and counter proponents. It is understood from the statement of Mahabharata that there are many munis or speculators. Tarko pratishtha shutyo vibhinna na swarishiyasya mattam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajanagin yatha sarpantha. Prabhupada is writing, philosophy means finding the ultimate cause. As Vedanta Sutra very reasonably says, athato brahma jigyasa, human life is meant for understanding the ultimate cause. Devotees accept that ultimate cause is Krishna because the conclusion is supported by all Vedic literatures and also by Krishna himself, who says Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. Devotees have no problem understanding the ultimate cause of everything, but non-devotees must face many opposing elements because everyone who wants to be a prominent philosopher invents his own way. Okay. And next paragraph Prabhupada is writing. Now one might ask why there are so many philosophers if the ultimate goal of philosophy is one. Undoubtedly, the ultimate cause is one, the Supreme Brahm, as Arjuna told Krishna in Gita, Param Brahm Param Dham Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Devyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhu. Okay. But because they are ignorant and bewildered concerning the souls and its activities, even though some of them have a vague idea of the soul, many controversies arise, and the philosophical speculators can never reach a conclusion. Okay, this is the main cause of so many different philosophies. All of these speculators are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what is the root cause of having so many philosophies? They don't want to accept the supremacy of the Lord. It is the envy. Okay, because of the envy, there are so many this. Again, Prabhupada is writing further down. Because of their envy, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, non-devotees are born in demonic families life after life. They are great offenders, and because of their offenses, the Supreme Lord keeps them always bewildered. Kurvanti chaisha muhuratma moham. The Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, purposely keeps them in darkness, atma mohan. Okay. Also in 16th chapter, Bhagavatam says, no? Jagad Ahu Anishwaram. Okay. Their conclusion is that the entire cosmic manifestation has no controller, but is working naturally. Right. Okay. So this is the cause. Next. Astiti nastiti nastiti nasti cha vastu nishtayo ekastayo bin viruddha dharmano avekshitam kinchana yoga sankhyayo samam param hi anukulam bhatat. Yeah.
There are two parties, namely the theist and atheist. The theist who accepts the super soul finds the spiritual path through mystic yoga. The Sankhyaite, however, who merely analyzes the material elements, comes to a conclusion of impersonalism and does not accept a supreme cause, whether Bhagavan, Paramatma, or even Brahman. Instead, he is preoccupied with the superfluous external activities of material nature. Ultimately, however, both parties demonstrate the absolute truth through because although they offer opposing statements, their object is the same ultimate cause. They are both approaching the same Supreme Brahman, to whom I offer my respectful obeisance.
Okay. So you can say why do you criticize these notes of the scriptures? They argue because they have different opinions stated in the scriptures. No, it is not like so. So both the Bhakti and the Sankhya perceive the same Brahm without disagreement. You know? Vedas in Bhagavata says, Sankhya Yoga Prathakvala Pravadantina Pandita. You know? So Sankhya Yoga and devotees, they are basically talking the same thing. Prabhupada is writing, one is searching the root of the tree, another is watering the tree. So there are no different opinions. But because of wrong understanding, these are contrary ideas. Okay. So Prabhupada's purport, please.
Actually, there are two sides to this argument. Some say that the absolute has no form, nirakar, and others say that the absolute has a form, sakar. Therefore, the word form is the common factor. Although some accept it, asti or astika, whereas others try to negate it, nasti or nastika. Since the devotee considers the word form, akar, the common factor for both, he offers his respectful obeisances to the form, although others may go on arguing about whether the absolute has a form or not. In this verse, the word yoga sankhyayo is very important. Yoga means bhakti yoga, because yogis also accept the existence of the all-pervading Supreme Soul and try to see that the Supreme Soul within their hearts. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.1, Dhyana Rasti Tatatgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina. The devotee tries to come directly to touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the yogi tries to find the Super Soul within the heart by meditation. Thus, both directly and indirectly, yoga means bhakti yoga. Sankhya, however, means physical study of the cosmic situation through speculative knowledge. This is generally known as Jnana Shastra. The Sankhyites are attached to the impersonal Brahman, but the absolute truth is known in three ways: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabde. The absolute truth is one, but some accept him as impersonal Brahman, some as the super soul existing everywhere, and some as Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead. The central point is the absolute truth. Although the impersonalists and personalists fight with one another, they focus upon the same Parabrahman, the same absolute truth. In the Yoga Shastras, Krishna is described as follows: Krishnam Pishangravam Param Ambujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shankhagati Udayudam. Thus, the pleasing appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's bodily features, his limbs and his dress are described. The Sankhya Shastra, however, denies the existence of the Lord's transcendental form. The Sankhya Shastra says that the Supreme Absolute Truth has no hand, no legs, and no name. Kiyanam Rupa Guna Pani Padam Achakshur Ashrotram Ekam Advitiyam Apinam Rupadikam Nasti. The Vedic mantra says Pani Pado Javano Grahita. The Supreme Lord has no legs and hands, but he can accept whatever is offered to him. Actually, such statements accept that the Supreme has hands and legs, but deny that he has material hands and legs. This is why the Absolute is called Aprakrit. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has a Satchidananda Vigraha, a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, not a material form. The Sankhyites or Gyanis deny the material form, and the devotees also know very well that the absolute truth, Bhagavan, has no material form. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Adi Govinda Sarva Karana. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. The conception of the Absolute without hands and legs and the conception of the Absolute with hands and legs are apparently contradictory, but they both coincide with the same truth about the Supreme Absolute Person. Therefore, the word Vastu Nishthayo, which is used herein, indicates that both the yogis and Sankhyites have faith in the reality, but arguing about it from the different viewpoints of material and spiritual identities. Para-Brahman or Brihat is the common point. The Sankhyaks and Yogis are both situated in that same Brahman, but they differ because of different angles of vision. The directions given by the Bhakti Shastra point one in the perfect direction because the Supreme Personality of Godhead says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati, only by devotional service am I to be known. The Bhaktas know that the Supreme Person has no material form, whereas the Jnanis simply deny the material form. One should therefore take shelter of the Bhakti Marga, the path of devotion, then everything will be clear. Jnanis concentrate on the Virat Roop, the gigantic material, the gigantic universal form of the Lord. This is a good system in the beginning for those who are extremely materialistic, but there is no need to think continuously of the Virat Roop. When Arjuna was shown the Virat Rupa of Krishna, he saw it, but he did not want to see it perpetually. He therefore requested the Lord to return to his original form as Two-armed Krishna. In conclusion, learned scholars find no contradictions in the devotee's concentration upon the spiritual form of the Lord, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya says that less intelligent non-devotees think that their conclusion is the ultimate, but because devotees are completely learned, they can understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal.
So both are talking about the same person, but they are looking at from different viewpoints. Okay, same absolute truth is there. Vadantis tattvadas tattvam yajnai advayam. The same non-dual substance is there. Okay. Now the next verse, he's praying for the mercy now. Yo anugrahartam bhajatam padamulam anamarupo bhagavan ananta namani rupani janma karma bhi bheje simayam parama prasidatu.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is inconceivably opulent, who is devoid of all material names, forms, and pastimes, and who is all pervading, is especially merciful to the devotees who worship his lotus feet. Thus he exhibits transcendental forms and names with his different pastimes. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose form is eternal and full of knowledge and bliss, be merciful to me.
Yeah, Anamarupo Bhagavan Ananta. So they said, Anam means no material names or Rupa material forms. Bhagavanta, Bhagavan Ananta, but he is unlimited. And Namani Rupani cha Jarma Karma bhi. So his transcendental holy names and his transcendental forms. And the first line says Anama Rupa, and the next line says Namani Rupani cha Jarma Karma bhi. So that means he has spiritual names and forms. Okay. So please, purport please. First paragraph.
In regard to the city-figured word, Anama Rupa, Sridhar Swami says, Prakrita Nama Rupa Pradhitopi. The word Nama, which means having no name, indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material name. Simply by chanting the name of Narayana to call his son, Ajamil attained salvation. This means that Narayana is not an ordinary mundane name. It is non-material. The word Anam therefore indicates that the name of the Supreme Lord do not belong to this material world. The vibration of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not a material sound, and similarly the form of the Lord and his appearance and activities are all non-material. To show his causeless mercy to the devotees as well as to the non-devotees, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears in this material world with names, forms, and pastimes, all of which are transcendental. Unintelligent men who cannot understand this think that these names, forms, and pastimes are material, and therefore they deny that he has a name or a form.
Yeah, next also. Considered with
the scrutiny the conclusion of non-devotees who say that God has no name and that of devotees
who know that his name is not material, are practically the same. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material names, form, birth, appearance, or disappearance. But nevertheless, he takes his birth, Janma, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Ajo Bisan Avyatma Bhutana Vishwaravi San Prakrishaya Sambhavami Maya. Although the Lord is unborn and his body never undergoes material changes, he nevertheless appears as an incarnation, maintaining himself always in the transcendental stage. Thus, he exhibits his transcendental forms, names, and activities. That is his special mercy towards his devotees. Others may continue merely arguing about whether the Lord, absolute truth has form or not. But when a devotee, by the grace of the Lord, sees that the Lord personally sees the Lord personally, he becomes spiritually ecstatic.
Yeah. Please can go to the next paragraph. Actually, the Lord's name already exists.
Actually, the Lord's name already exists because of his transcendental activities. The Lord is sometimes called Guna Karma Nama because his name his, he is named according to his transcendental activities. For example, Krishna means all attractive. This is the Lord's name because his transcendental qualities make him very attractive. A small boy, he lifted Govardhan hill, and in his childhood, he killed many demons. Such activities are very attractive, and therefore he is sometimes called Giridhari, Madhusudan, Ag- Aganisudan, and so on. Because he acted as the son of Nanda Maharaj, he is called Nanda Tanuja. These names already exist, but since non-devotees cannot understand the names of the Lord, he is sometimes called Anam or nameless. This means that he has no material names. All his activities are spiritual and therefore he has spiritual names. Generally, less intelligent men are under the impression that the Lord has no form. Therefore, he appears in his original form as Krishna, Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, to carry out his mission of participating in the battle of Kurukshetra and pastimes to protect the devotees and vanquish the demons. Paritranaya sadhana vinashaya charishram. This is his mercy. For those who think that he has no form and no work to do, Krishna comes to show that indeed he works and he works so gloriously that no one else can perform such uncommon acts. Although he appeared as a human being, he married 16,108 wives, which, which is impossible for a human being to do. The Lord performs such activities to show people how great he is, how affectionate he, how affectionate he is, and how merciful he is. Although his original name is Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, he acts in unlimited ways, and therefore, according to his work, he has many thousands of names.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Ya prakitirjnana pathe jananam yatha shayam deha gato vibhati yatha nilam parthivamasrito gunam sa ishvaro me kurutam manoratham.
As the air carries various characteristics of the physical elements
Yeah.
like the aroma of a flower or colors resulting from a mixture of dust in the air. The Lord appears through lower systems of worship according to one's desires, although he appears as the demigods and not in his original form. What is the use of these other forms? May the original Supreme Personality of Godhead please fulfill my desires. Purport. The impersonalists imagine the various demigods to be forms of the Lord. For example, the Mayavadis worship 5 demigods, Panchopasana. They do not actually believe in the form of the Lord, but for the sake of worship, they imagine some form to be God. Generally, they imagine a form of Vishnu, a form of Shiva, and forms of Ganesh, the sun god and Durga. This is called Panchopasana. Daksha, however, wanted to worship not an imaginary form, but the supreme form of Lord Krishna. In this regard, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and an ordinary living being. As pointed out in a previous verse, Sarvam Puvan Veda Gunamscha Tajno Naveda Sarvam Nyam Ananta Ide. The omnipotent Supreme Lord knows everything, but the living being does not actually know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I know everything, no one knows me. This is the difference between the Supreme Lord and an ordinary living being. In a prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti says, My dear Lord, you exist inside and outside, yet no one can see you. The conditioned soul cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by speculative knowledge or by imagination. One must therefore know the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He reveals himself, but he cannot be understood by speculation. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Atapi te deva padambujatvaya prasadaleshanujitayevani janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno najanmekopi chiram vichivam. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. This is the verdict of the Shastra. An ordinary man may be a great philosopher and may speculate upon what the absolute truth is, what his form is, and where he is existing. But he cannot understand these truths. Sevon mukhe jihvadau swayameva spuratyada. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead only through devotional service. This is also explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktya mama vijanati javanyastasvilatvataha. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is only by devotional service. Unintelligent persons want to imagine or concoct a form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but devotees want to worship the actual personality of Godhead. Therefore, Daksha prays, one may think of you as personal, impersonal, or imaginary, but I wish to pray to your Lordship that you fulfill my desires to see you as you actually are. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that this verse is especially meant for the impersonalist who thinks that he himself is a supreme, because there is no difference between the living being and God. The Mayavadi philosopher thinks that there is only one supreme truth and that he is also that supreme truth. Actually, this is not knowledge but foolishness. This verse is especially meant for such fools whose knowledge has been stolen by illusion. Maya Pahrita Jnana. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that such persons, Jnani Manina, think themselves very advanced, but actually they are unintelligent. In regard to this verse, Srila Madhvacharya says, Swadehastam Hariprahur Adama Jiva Mevatu Madhyamaschapi Nandititam Jiva Vikram Janatanam. There are three classes of men: the lowest Adama, those in the middle Madhyama, and the best Uttama. The lowest Adama think there is no difference between God and the living entity, except that the living entity is under designations, where the absolute truth has no designations. In their opinion, as soon as the designations of the material body are dissolved, the jiva, the living entity, will mix with the supreme. They give the argument of Gatakash Patakash, in which the body is compared to a pot with the sky within and the sky without. When the pot breaks, the sky inside becomes one with the sky outside. And so the impersonalists say that the living being becomes one with the Supreme. This is their argument. But Sri Madhvacharya says that such an argument is put forward by the lowest class of men. Another class of men cannot ascertain what the actual form of the Supreme is, but they agree that there is a Supreme who controls the activities of the ordinary living being. Such philosophers are accepted as mediocre. The best, however, are those who understand the Supreme Lord, Satchidananda Vigraha. Purnanandadi Gunakam Sarvajiva Vilakshanam. His form is completely spiritual, full of bliss, and completely distinct from that of conditioned soul or any other living entity. Uttamastu harim prahurstaratamyena teshucha. Such philosophers are the best because they know the absolute supreme personality of Godhead reveals himself differently to worshippers in different various modes of material nature. They know that there are 33 million demigods. Just to convince the conditioned soul that there is a supreme power and to induce him to agree to worship one of these demigods, so that by the association of the devotees he may be able to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Parataram Nanya Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. There is no truth superior to me. Aham Adilhi Devanam. I am the origin of all the demigods. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am superior to everyone, even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods. These are the conclusions of this Astra, and one who accepts these conclusions should be considered a first-class philosopher. Such a philosopher knows that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord of the demigods. Deva Deveshwaram Sutram Anandam Pranamedina.
Yeah, okay. So we'll close here. So we have completed Hansgoya prayers. So now the Lord will respond. Okay. So that will complete next tomorrow morning session. Any questions or comments?
Daksha was not satisfied with his creation. And hence he went for a loss. So what was the cause of his dissatisfaction?
What was the cause? I mean, he wanted that the generation, there should be a lot of generation, but it was not as per his expectations. So he went for austerities. And then he created 10,000 sons, 1,000 sons, then all the daughters, and through his daughters, he'll go forward with creation. He'll be specially blessed by the Lord after this. Earlier he created, but there was not much of creation. So he went for a special drive, marathon. So before marathon, he went for austerities. Yeah.
Is this material desire or because he's doing as a service to Lord Brahma?
He's doing as a service to the Lord Brahma, but we'll see further, he was not completely purified. And the Lord also did not show him complete favor. So the Lord engages all kinds of living entities with different consciousness. Lord engages everyone. Lord will show as if he's very pleased, but he was not very pleased. As per his level, okay. But Lord was not very pleased. That will show when we'll behave with Narad Muni. Yeah.
Why this prayer is called as Hansgoya prayer? Is there any reason?
Yeah, I couldn't find that reason. That nothing is mentioned, but I said it's mentioned in the Vedas. I don't know why it is called. You can do some research, it will be nice.
Now this last one, just completed. It seems that the last line is Prabhupada is adding to remove that impersonal ambiguity. Because the words itself says that Lord is appearing different demigods or.
And translation?
This one.
Yes, Prabhupada normally does that. Which line you're saying?
Maybe means what is the use of the other forms?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, if you see word by word meaning, there's nothing like that.
That verse itself is an impersonal way of representing.
That verse is an impersonal representation. The word meaning is impersonal, the verse.
Yeah, it is saying the Lord appears through the lower systems of worship according to one's desires. Like demigods also appear to fulfill the desires.
Indirectly it's telling about the
Panchopasana, yeah, it's that. So Prabhupada is saying, what is the use of this?
I have some questions from the beginning onwards.
Yeah.
So like this first verse, not first verse, the introduction, we started that how Prashid Maharaj is asking about the Visarga. So how it should be understood for us means, one way is that he is seeing the Visarga like Jahan dekhe tahan he is put, and then in that way glorifying the Lord in his creation was Satyashaktiman. So he's telling for us or he's seeing in that and glorifying us. How?
He is just absorbed in hearing. So in between he was stopped. So he was inquisitive. What happened? We were discussing about Visarga. Then all these episodes came. But what happened? What happened to Visarga? The Visarga, we were discussing about Visarga, explained in detail. So, although the Bhagavatam was complete, Tasmat, when Sukti Goswami told him, Tasmat Bhagwan, what is that? Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagwan Ishvara Shotave Kisitavescha Smartam Ichitabhe. The whole Bhagavatam was, he got the answers. But again, first step in self-realization started with that. Okay. So maybe it is for all of us, so that whole Bhagavatam is revealed. And he was also genuinely interested. He was inquiring. He was not saying, immediately come to 10th canto. He was very, very inquisitively, he was asking everything. So like you said, he was seeing that all this creation as Krishna only.
And then, like, if you compare the Guru Maharaj with Tapasya and Lord Darshan, and Prachetas under guidance of Lord Shiva with Tapasya and Lord Darshan. Now, in the meanwhile, when verse came, then it said that Tapasya, and because of Tapasya, they got the anger. So it seems that little bit difference in the level of devotional service of Prachetas and Guru Maharaj is correct.
Prachetas also had the darshan of Lord.
Yeah.
And the Lord was very pleased with them. And Lord also, and they had, and the Prachetas also heard from Narad Muni also later on. So Prachetas were also very high class devotees. And Dhruv Maharaj also got extremely angry after having darshan of the Lord. And he got pacified by Manu. So here, all these episodes are there just to show us that the modes of nature are very powerful. Even the Mahabhagavats, they can also sometimes get carried away. But then they immediately retreat. So it's not that the Prachetas were less advanced than Dhruv Maharaj. Because Prachetas were very advanced. They had the darshan of the Lord. Lord was very pleased. And they heard from Narad Muni also. And Lord assured them also that although you will be in the family life, you will come back to me. Same he told to Dhruv Maharaj. So what these episodes come, because just to teach us a lesson that even though we may reach at that stage, one should be very, very careful. The modes of nature are very powerful.
One more question comes that Prophet Rama word is used when they That's the indication was given that why you are becoming angry because your grandfathers and great grandfathers have done to the goodness.
Yeah.
But the Dhruv Maharaj case also comes, the Prapitama and great grandfathers Dhruv also comes. So
Yeah. Yeah, but Dhruv Maharaj was great. He got angry for some time, but again, yeah, same thing. They came back.
Just like that approach mentioned, or?
Just like approach. It was like he was trying to pacify them. You came from a great lineage, so I should that way. So even Manu told Dhruv Maharaj the same thing. When Manu was pacifying Dhruv, he also told him almost the same thing.
Yeah. You are doing great.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much. So in this Daksha, so Daksha, he performed in Swayambhu Manu, the first Manvantara, his head was cut by Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
So after that he performed the Tapasya.
After that he was born from Prachetas because
from Prachetas and this last Manvantara.
The first Manvantara.
Oh, in Swayambhu Manvantara.
Swayambhu Manvantara.
So these are the stories from Swayambhu Manvantara.
Yes, yes. And then he performed tapasya for 5 Manvantras.
So Chakshus Manvantara, he started creation.
Yeah, then he started creation.
So like every Manvantara, someone is there to create the second Visharga, like for the progeny especially.
Yes. Yes, Prajay.
Same little, but is Daksha creating demigods and demons. But sometimes we heard that it is already Virat Purushas from body of Virat Purusha, the demigods are created.
Virat Purusha, universal form is kind of a blueprint. That different elements are there and they are like the different limbs of the Supreme Lord. Actual creation is done in type of Visarga. Virat Purusha is kind of blueprint, Design है पूरा बस. उसमें fit हो रहे हैं सब ऐसे. The creation, Virat Purusha is not doing the creation. Creation is done by Brahma and other fellows. Visarga.
Virat Purusha pose are there, demigods.
हाँ यहाँ पे ये आएगा, यहाँ पे ये आएगा, blueprint है. फिर ब्रह्मा जी creation करें, वो fit होंगे ऐसे. Yes.
In one of the Bhagavad, it was mentioned that how the people, Lord bewilders the people who are like envious or offenders towards the Lord of that Vad Vivad argumentation. So what is then how they will be like become devotees?
Yeah. This is also the mercy of the Lord. Till they are prepared, Lord keeps them bewildered. Okay, Lord doesn't force them. कि जबरदस्ती आओ मेरी तरफ. They want to remain bewildered, Lord will keep them bewildered. But ultimately, by the mercy of the pure devotees, they are delivered. So, like Tanham Drishta Kurnam Sansareshu Naradama Kshipami Ajasam Shubhan Asrimyam Yoneshu Asrim Yoni Mapanna Mura Janmani Janmani. For many, many birds, they will be cast into lower species of life. Prabhupada says this is also the extreme mercy of the Lord. Okay, because they are so envious, it's okay. Don't come near me, remain at a distance. And gradually, then Lord will bring them by the mercy of the devotees. Lord doesn't want to force upon them.
So when we are preaching, so we have to apply that same
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there are many examples where some great sages they did austerities and they were able to control lust, but after performing austerities, they couldn't control anger.
Yeah.
So can we conclude that power of anger is more powerful than lust?
No. Power of anger is more powerful.
Force of anger is Krodha Vegam. It's more powerful than force of lust.
Krodha is called Kamanuja, younger brother of Kam. So Kama is the elder brother.
Elder brother is more powerful.
Yeah, everything comes. Yeah. That's why it's called elder brother. So everything comes from Kam actually.
So how to understand this. With the sages, they are able to control lust, but they are able
No,
to
they are able to control lust when the same lust exhibits in the form of anger. Because unsatisfied lust comes in the form of anger.
So, Lord Krishna says, Kam Isha, Krodh Isha, Rajoguna Samam.
Yeah.
So both are generated from Rajoguna.
Yeah.
But generally, it's misunderstanding is, maybe it's my wrong understanding, that anger is born of mode of ignorance.
Yeah. And when it becomes too bad, then it degenerates into tamoguna. Then when it becomes very harmful for others, then it degenerates into tamoguna.
But it is born from
Rajoguna, yeah.
And it may lead to
Tamoguna, yes, yeah.
This last point in his answer, you are claiming that how the Dhruva Maharaj got darshan and still he becoming affected by the modes of nature. So how to understand even pure devotees also get affected?
Yes, sometimes they get affected. The difference is the pure devotee immediately retracts. They don't remain for a whole life long they are in modes of nature, or many lives they are in modes of nature. Just a small incident. And immediately when the Swayamvan who counseled him, he realized, he came back. It was a small time effect. Not like normal conditioned souls. Lives and lives together we are under modes of nature. It was just for a moment, some time.
So, but there are always chances.
There's always chances, yes.
For me commit offense also at
Yes.
that stage.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yeah.
There in that sloka it is mentioned that senses can taste the sense object, but sense object cannot know the taste.
Yeah.
Similarly, soul cannot know how the Lord is fulfilling desire.
Yeah, yeah.
It is for condition stage.
Yes.
But generally we say that devotees can be known.
Yeah, then that's why the prayers are progressing. Prayers are progressing like this only. You are unknown, then your impersonal aspect can be known easily, then your personal aspect can be known that way. It was progressing. Normally Lord is not known. Okay.
In text document, the purport Prabhupada repeatedly says this: these spectators are envious towards Supreme Person of Godhead.
Yeah.
How exactly they are envious of the Supreme? Different philosophers.
Because they are not acknowledging that Krishna is the supreme cause. On some pretext or other, they are saying, no, this is the cause, that is the cause. It's very simple. Krishna is the cause of all causes. Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. But they are not ready to accept because of envy only.
The stubbornness is.
Stubbornness, envy. It is coming from envy only. All these modern scientists, they don't want to acknowledge Krishna's supremacy. So different theories, different philosophies are there. No?
Maharaj, Asti and Nasti, how they come in one platform?
It is on this aspect. Asti says the Lord has form, Nasti says they don't have our form. But they both are talking about form. So they are on the same platform. They both are talking about some absolute truth. They know there must be some absolute truth beyond this creation. So they are on one platform. Okay. But the only thing is, because they're different point of view, one is saying no form, other is saying form. So Lord has form also, and Lord has impersonal form also, impersonal aspect also. So although they are on the same thing, that's why they are on the same platform, in a way, in a broader sense.
Generally, Nastic, the common people, they say Nastic means those who don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Believe in existence of God.
Yeah. Here, in not that sense. Actually, Nastic means who don't accept Vedic authority. They are Nastic. Like Buddhists, they are also Nastic. But here the word Asti, Nasti means form or no form.
Text 21. Sometime I've seen some observation, the verse regarding which says that how the Bhakti means the jnana and the yoga karma, they give results because they have some bhakti in that.
Yeah.
So when we see this verse, text 21, it says that how he is doing tapasya, means he is doing tapasya to please Hari.
Tatra agmarsham nam tirtham pap haram param tapso toshayad harim. Yes.
Can we say this verse is a proof that because he is not doing as a pure devotional service, Daksha.
No, Daksha was not performing pure devotional service, yes.
Can we say that the austerities or what the Karmakanda, the austerities is doing, the results are given because of the bhakti factor involved in that?
Yes, yes. He is performing bhakti. He is performing tapasya to please Krishna, Lord Hari.
But tapasya cannot perform, tapasya cannot please Lord. That is also
But if tapasya is for pleasing Lord Hari, so it's a bhakti. This tapasya is meant for pleasing Hari. This tapasya is not for getting some powers like Hiranyakashipu or Ravana. This tapasya is for filling the mission of the Lord. Mission of the Lord is generate progeny. So it is for his mission only.
Of course, this is not a pure devotional service, that is one thing.
Yeah.
So, that, let's say the tapasya or yoga which is performed averse to Lord,
Yeah.
that also give result because of bhakti only?
Not necessarily. No. Like Hiranyakashipu got boon from Brahma because of his austerities. Ravana also got result of his austerities. But they were not fruitful because they were inimical to the Lord. It was not bhakti. But they performed tapasya. All these demons, they perform tapasya and they get some results also.
So then how this phrase has to be understood? They give, this process give results because there is some bhakti involved.
No, that is different aspect. That is, you're saying the transcendentalist. Any kind of transcendentalists get result of their process only because of presence of some element of bhakti. Otherwise, the scientists are also getting some result. A terrorist is also getting some result. He was the original terrorist, Hiranyakashipu. He also got results because of his austerity. He performed austerities for pleasing demigods, and demigods reciprocated. All these tantrics also, they get some success.
That is meant for the transcendental work other than the bhakti work.
Yes. Yeah.
Next, 25, last line of purpose.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the living being, even if advanced, cannot understand the Supreme Being, the personality of Godhead, for his Ananta, unlimited in all his opulence.
Yeah.
So, specifically seeing this line is quoted as per the context of the purport or translation or in general?
In general also. Lord is Ananta. Even Lord himself cannot understand himself. Even Lord doesn't know how opulent I am.
From the tattva point of view.
Tattva point of view.
And verse 26, it says that this transcendental realization is above susupti, deep sleep.
Yeah.
And previous to that line, as described here, one attains the ultimate realization of personality of Godhead when one gives up the activities of mind, thinking, feeling, willing, or in other words, mental speculation stops.
Yeah.
So, and then in our gross conditionality, we perceive things through many material experience and remembrance, and in subtle state we perceive the whole in dream. So this deep sleep is
Susupti.
there's always confusion sometimes. When we say susupti, it's like the jiva in the garbhodak, means when everything is dissolved in the kala that sagar, or the susupti is the depth or the which happens at authentic pralaya, or which happens when jiva is not getting any body in subtle body.
Normally 3 stages of consciousness are there: waking, wakeful, dream, and deep sleep. And the 4th stage is Turiya. Yeah, that is transcendental stage. So this deep sleep can be, yes, a stage of coma, you can say, or stage of annihilation when he's there in the body of Karunadakshayi Vishnu. Yeah.
Here
Or it can be, even if he is not in the body of Kantakshay Vishnu, he is in deep sleep. There is no dream, nothing.
But Ms. Prabhupada mentions in the same body is in deep sleep, there is no thinking or something going on, but still that is not a dream only in one sense.
Normally, because mind will always be active. Yeah. So normally that stage is annihilation stage only. So it is above, but that realization which he is talking about is Turiya stage, is above that deep sleep stage. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.